Hello everyone, we welcome you to the Power Stories by Power Talk with Archana today. Today we have with us Shambhavi Lal and Manya Gupta. We welcome Super Achiever Shambhavi Lal 2020 along with her proud parents Mrs. Uma Lal and Mr. Rohit Lal. Shambhavi has scored 99.7% in humanities in her ISC exams 2020. Shambhavi is a student of Leelavati Bai Poddar School, Mumbai, India. We would also like to welcome Super Achiever Manya Gupta and her proud parents Nisha Gupta and Mr. Gupta. Manya has scored 98.5% in commerce with maths. Manya is a student of Delhi Public School, Whitefield, Bangalore, India. Our heartiest congratulations to both of you. We also extend a warm welcome to all the parents and students who are here to encourage Shambhavi and Manya. We request all of you to please mute yourselves here as we start this discussion with Manya and Shambhavi.
Thank you so much.
Great. Okay, now this question is for Shambhavi. Shambhavi and Manya, you're requested to please turn on your mics. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm here.
So this question is for Shambhavi. Shambhavi, class 12 has always been a very important year in this life of every student. Please tell all the students and the parents here, we would want to know how did your day look like? How did you plan your day in class 11th and 12th so that you could meet every day's schedule?
Right. So firstly, the morning and towards the afternoon, I had my school day. And in my school, besides studying throughout the year, we had a lot of extracurriculars like fests and student councils and other events that we organized. So I always like to take part as much as I could in all of those. So because I believe that you learn as much outside the classroom as you do inside the classroom. So that was like the major part of my day. And after that, when I'd come home, I probably had assignments, homework, projects, etc. that I had to do. And I had a tuition for one of my subjects, which was maths. So I would spend a portion of my day, studying and going to my classes, of course. And importantly, I also took out time every evening to, either meet my friends or to walk, exercise, just to get a breath of fresh air from the rest of the day which is spent at home. So to go outside and either do something. And since the weekends were obviously, I had a little more free time, I would spend some time, relaxing, watching TV, music, practicing, etc. And another thing that I also found time for, because I'm passionate about it, is I volunteer at an animal services organization nearby, which is where I would spend my weekends. And I also did another internship with HYNGO in Mumbai, which is a social services organization. So I could spend time doing that and learning from those experiences on the weekends as well. So that was like the gist of my week and how I spent time on each activity.
Great. Great, Shambhavi. That's amazing. Manya, would you like to add how you planned your days during 11th and 12th so that you could cope up with the subjects and the curriculum that you had to focus on? Manya, can you hear me? Manya, are you there? Okay, I think we'll move to the next question. Shambhavi, as you said, you definitely had, your the entire day planned. You also had your weekends planned. But, as far as the entertainment goes, I mean, what is it that one thing that you kept you going, and how did you entertain yourself? Because definitely studying the whole day long, without breaks, how did you keep yourself entertained to keep your mind fresh?
Right. So even when it came to school and the way we studied, a lot of our studies was through group discussions and class discussions, debates, etc. So it was always very interesting, and it never got boring, mainly because I was interested in those subjects, and we were also encouraged by our teachers to watch movies and read up about case studies, etc. so that we can really understand what we're studying and see how it really takes place in real life. And besides that, I also enjoy music. I've learned music for a few years, so whenever I was free, I'd just like listen to music. And I also really enjoy watching movies and documentaries, so I would spend a lot of time doing those as well. And yeah, and I had whatever time to do, I would spend with my friends, because it's always nice to spend time with people who are going through the same thing and see how all of you are coping. And I think it's also very important that you help out each other whenever you can. So yeah, I think I had a lot of support from my family, friends, and teachers as well. So I was able to study as well as be entertained and really enjoy what I was doing.
Great, that's lovely. Shambhavi, tell us one thing. During the course of the day, how long did you take a break for? Would you mind telling us, was it an hour's break or a 30 minutes break or a 2 hours break?
Exactly.
How frequently you would take breaks? So how would you design your day when it was about your breaks?
Right. So I think it balance is important. So I think it depends on what you're studying and how much of it you plan to do. So for me, if I did something that was very taxing and something that was tough for me, I'd probably take like a longer break before moving on to do something light, so I can retain whatever I have studied. And also, I think for me, I couldn't really sit in one place for long periods of time. So I was also told by my mom to get up and like take a walk every 5-10 minutes, so you're active and like you don't feel that you're doing something monotonous. So I think it depends on what you're studying and how you're feeling at that point of time. And yeah, usually I study for around 3 to 4 hours a day. So I think besides that, it really depends on what you're doing and how much of it you're able to like take in.
Wow, I think these are very good pointers for everybody to understand and take forward, because it's important to take the breaks, but how you plan your day, so that your breaks should always refresh you. You should not feel drained out, but there has to be a balance. Great, Shambhavi. Shambhavi,
Right.
tell us one thing. Since you have also been taking tuitions, so
Right.
how did you create that balance? Because there are children who are students who would be going to school, there is
Right.
school work, there is tuition work, there's tuition exams. So how would you create that balance? Is it important to study more for your tuition than for your regular school, or you would concentrate on your regular school and less on tuition? How did you strike that balance? What is important?
Right. So since I'm an humanities student, I went for tuitions for the subject which is maths, and for me that was more about getting extra practice than I could in home in school, and also getting a little bit help wherever I had weak areas. So I think one of the most important things that I learned throughout was to listen to your teachers and what they tell you in school, because they are the ones who really know the questions and the answers and how the format of the whole exam system works. So I found it really helpful for myself, because I saw a lot of people that would bunk school to attend tuition, and instead of doing that, I found a lot of value in what my teachers told me in class itself, whether it was how to study or how to go about studying specific topics. And for every single person, how we study and learn is different. So I found it very helpful from my teachers in school that would devote time to really helping us understand what was best for us.
Yeah, I think quite right. You're quite right there. Also, tell me one thing. You had your own course books, but you also had reference books to refer to. So, how did you give that? Which subject would you give more preference to? Study from your reference books. So, you've always felt whatever has been the content in the course books, you were happy with that. Did you ever feel the need to refer to a lot of books outside the course books, or they were suffice?
So in humanities, the books that we mainly use are reference books. Obviously the syllabus is extremely extensive, which is why in every school, we used to get, in every school they get markings for a particular topic and what else to do. So I think for me, I mainly, for my exams, when it came to my exams, I mainly focused on what my teachers, told us to study and how to go about it. But yeah, I think it always helps to, if you find something interesting, I think what I would do is read up more about it elsewhere, whether it was another book or like on the internet, just so that I would retain it better. And because I found it interesting, of course. So I think when it comes to studying, it's best to do what your teachers tell you and the books that the school gives you to refer to.
Yeah, great input out there, Shambhavi. Do we have Manya here? Manya, can you hear us? Manya, are you here? Can you hear us? Okay, no worries. So, tell me another thing, Shambhavi. Can you please mute yourself? All the others would please request you to mute yourself. Thank you. So, Shambhavi, also tell me one thing. Since you, is there anything that you would like to add here? Maybe give students 5 points that they should definitely do and look into while they plan their day, and the 5 points which you feel should, they should stay away from those things and concentrate only on work. What are your 5 do's and don'ts for achieving the success that you have?
Right. So I think for me, the most important thing that you should do is to, plan your day and have a schedule for yourself. Because when it comes to 11th and 12th standard, if you're besides academics, you'll have a lot of other work to do when it comes to co-curriculars, etc. So when you have a lot of work, you tend to feel overwhelmed. But if you have a plan, it provides you some structure so that you know exactly what you have to do and you don't forget something, and you can divide your time adequately to everything that you're supposed to do. So I think organization is one of the things that helped me the most. And secondly, it would what I would say is important is consistency. To give equal focus to any assignment or work or exam that you have, because it takes off the burden that will keep accumulating if you procrastinate. So, and I think giving equal focus to whether it's your projects or exams, it helps you build your confidence that you know what you're studying. And thirdly, I think what I think is important is you take part in class, whether it's co-curriculars, etc. Because I learned so much from the people around me, whether it was people I worked together with in a group project, or whether it was a fest that we organize or student council. It really helped me, develop other skills as well, like how to be a group leader and etc. So I think that's also very important. And next, I would probably say that you should focus on your personal well-being, both physical and mental. Because if you're not feeling well, then studying it's not going to help you. It's counterproductive. In fact, you won't really be focusing on what you're doing. So I think it's okay to take a break if you're not feeling well. It's okay to have like a free day where you just do what you want to do. That's okay, as long as you know that you have to resume it and you're doing it with a goal in mind. And the next thing is, when you're 11th and 12th standard, after that comes college. So I think you should spend time in figuring out your interests and what you like and what you don't like, and also what you're good at. Take advice from your peers and parents and people around you about what comes next, so that you're not forced to make the decision at the end and you end up doing something you don't like. And also with this, you can probably pursue and gain more knowledge about subjects beyond the books, so that you're actually interested in what you're studying and it's not just temporary and you retain it permanently. So I think those are 5 do's that I would say is important. And when it comes to things to avoid, I think one thing that a lot of us get caught up in is last minute studying the day before the exam, like all nighters, etc. And that will happen occasionally because there's obviously a lot of work. But I think one thing is to avoid those, because the stress that comes with doing all of it in one night, again, it's counterproductive. You might not actually retain anything, more because of the fact that you're actually very anxious about what you're doing. And secondly, which is probably again very important, is to avoid rote learning. I think again, because people think of it as just studying it for the exam, you start like just basically trying to memorize everything without understanding it. So I think rote learning was one thing that I tried to avoid. And if you don't understand something, you ask your teacher. Once you better understand it, then you'll be able to retain it instead of having to just memorize it. And another thing is, again, like, don't procrastinate regularly. And it's bound to happen sometimes. However, if you should set an achievable target for yourself, I think it's very important to stick to that. and
Yeah.
try to make sure that you complete it so that you're not worried about it much later on.
Yeah.
And I think finally, um, I think a lot of us, even me initially, sometimes I would just follow a schedule or do something the way people around me were doing it, even if it wasn't necessarily what was best for me. So I think another
Yeah.
thing to avoid is not to just do whatever people are telling you, whether it's the
Yeah.
amount of hours you study in a day and how you study and what you study. It's obviously good to discuss with the people around you and take inputs, but it's best to find out what actually works for you and what is helping
Right.
you and what's good for you. So I think that's
Perfect.
again like important thing for me.
Perfect. Perfect. Shambhavi, we can clearly see why you are a super achiever 2020. Great. We also have Manya with us now. Manya, can you hear me? You please kindly unmute yourself. Manya, please unmute yourself.
Hello, hi.
All right, great. Hi, so welcome back, Manya. So, Manya, we have been discussing about the do's and don'ts that students should indulge in while these, preparation of these two crucial years, grade 11th and 12th. Shambhavi has shared her do's and don'ts. Please share your do's and don'ts for students to know what are those things they should do to achieve success, to achieve a score as high as 99.75, 98.75, and what are those things they should completely avoid. Please go on.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing that I would like to suggest every one of you is believe in yourself. Don't give up. You'll have many instances when you'll feel like giving up. You will not have any hope left. You'll be like, I don't score marks and all that thing. So just believe in yourself is the first thing I'll say. And the second thing is do not lie to yourself. The thing is, you can study for your parents, you can study for your teachers, you can tell them that I was studying, but that does not really matter, because at the end of the day what you're earning marks is only for yourself. So be true to yourself. If you haven't worked all day, just see, look for the reasons why haven't you worked and what can you do so that things are better in the next day. The second thing is be regular in studies. In 11th 12th, one lesson that you will learn is studying one day, 1 month, or 1 week before exams is not going to fetch you marks. It might fetch you marks in like one or two subjects which are very theoretical, but taking subjects like accounts, mathematics, it requires a rigorous practice. You cannot do that in 1 week or 1 month. The third thing is judge yourself. Keep on writing exams or keep on giving tests, a sectional test, mock tests, a topic test, or anything like that, which helps you assess yourself time to time. Because it does not make sense to keep on revising the same chapter again and again once you're very thorough with it. So if you keep assessing yourself, you'll know what are your weak points and you can very well work on them. And I think that will make a huge difference. And the fourth thing I would say is a sound sleep. Like many of my batchmates, I'll say even many of my close friends tend to avoid sleep. They'll be like, I pulled an all-nighter, man, and they'll be very happy about that. But one thing that is never worked for me, I just tried it once before my economics exam, and then I'll have to admit it was a total failure. So just look out for ways. So you do not have to cut on your sleep schedule, because a sound sleep actually gives you your brain some time at peace, rest, and you actually perform better. Have adequate breaks while studying. Now that's a very subjective matter, so I wouldn't say that have a break after 2 minutes. It depends upon you, what is your capability, what is your potential. So have breaks according to that. And then talking about the subjects that I have, refer to sources, because 11 12 it's very difficult for a teacher to complete everything in that 8 hours of school that you have. And 8 hours eliminating all the P's, free periods, clubs, and your council duties, you just get like 4 to 5 hours. So you will have to refer to different books, and at this stage it's not a good practice to rely 100% upon what is being taught in the school from a single book. Talking about
Yeah.
don'ts, one thing would be to not get distracted. Now when I talk about this, I won't only imply towards social media as it is sense. It can be anything. It could be your close friends who distract you from doing work. It could be someone who pulls you down every time you do, or it could be even someone who boosts you even if you do nothing. So do not be in that group also which praises you even for doing nothing.
Right.
Again, I'll repeat, do not lose hope in yourself, do not lie to yourself, and if you have any issues, do not hesitate going to someone. I wouldn't say that pour your heart out, but you should have someone that you can speak to in these times of difficulties. Because when I talk personally, I had many instances during these 2 years when I had actually given hope, talking about the main integration kida that we say. But
Yeah.
speaking to my parents, and they are a true source of motivation if they help you. And
Wow,
I
I
think
think this
that
is
is
amazing.
something that can always help you boost up your marks, your morale, your confidence, and everything. So yeah, that's it.
Lovely. I think these are amazing pointers from both Shambhavi and Manya. A lot of learning to all the students who are listening to them right now. You are definitely both are achievers for a reason, and we all are very proud of both of you. Great. Also, tell us one thing, Manya. What have been your learnings while you were giving so much of your attention, your dedication these 2 years? What are those learnings? That you really had these years while preparing for your grade 12th exams?
It'll be the same thing. Learning at the last moment does not help you. Losing
Yeah,
hope does not help you. And one thing was, initially what happened was, I would tell to my parents, ठीक है यार मैंने आज पढ़ लिया अब बहुत है. But at the end of the day, when you go to bed, you will realize that that's something you will not be very happy about, because you're just lying to yourself, and you will find like you would be tired even without doing anything. So once you set
yeah,
day goals, so I didn't have a timetable as of such, but I used to set day goals. So I'll have like 4 topics in a day, and until and unless I complete that, I wouldn't be able to hit my bed. And I don't know why, that just became my habit. So until and unless all the items of that list are striked out, I wouldn't get sleep. So you bind yourself to something, and I wouldn't say that be in your books 24/7. That's a very, very bad habit. My parents would pull me out of my room every moment they would get. So have a routine, like have something, either paint, draw, dance, whatever. Like my relief or my thing to get thing was painting. So anytime you're free, just maybe 20 minutes, paint something, sing, watch, anything. It could be walk, talk to your friends or anything. Do not be in your books 24/7, because that could make your mind
yeah.
work very slow and you might get tired very fast.
Right. Great. Lovely. Shambhavi, what would you like to add here? What have
Uh,
been your learnings?
Right. So when it comes to what I learned throughout my 2 years of ISC, I understood the importance of consistency and discipline when it came to academics as well as my co-curriculars in school, etc. I learned how to divide my time between things, and a skill that I properly could hone in was time management. Because that's also very
Yeah,
important to realize that you can't study for like most of your day, and and probably like if you like to do something, you probably won't have enough time for that. So I think it's important to find a balance in what you like to do and what you have to do. And another thing that I got to experience, which was a great thing for me, was like I mentioned, in subjects in the humanities, a lot of learning occurs in the classroom where you're talking to other people, whether you're discussing something. And it really helped me, fine tune my skills, like analytical thinking, and how to develop perspectives and opinions, and how to understand what another person feels about something, and how to constructively like build your opinion and perspective over something.
yeah,
And I think that was also equally important for me when I was studying, because it was always something to look forward to. Instead of just going to class and listening to a lecture or looking at a PPT, we would look forward to group projects and discussions, etc., which I think was very important, because it made me really enjoy what I was learning. So I think,
yeah.
yes, that's what I learned. It's important to stay engaged, have goals, and follow a discipline, whatever it may be, and just be consistent in whatever you're doing. And even if you do like a little bit every day, I think that's where consistency helps.
Right. I think very great pointers out there. That's amazing. Shambhavi, I would also want to know from you. I mean, is there anything that you would like to change today? Something that could have made you score another that 0.2%, 0.25%, anything that you should have done better to get, maybe 100% marks. Is there anything that you feel you lacked somewhere? What do you think you could have reversed?
I think initially, towards the start of 12th grade, I would procrastinate quite a bit when it came to certain things like a project or something. And towards the end, I realized that it's better to get it done as soon as you can, because the next day you might have 10 other things to do and it'll just be like an added burden. So I think if you have enough time for something, you should utilize it well. And secondly, another thing that is important for me is in subjects like, for me, maths. was it was very important for me to practice a lot. I mean, as many sources as you
Yeah.
could, from papers, other books, question papers, etc. I think that was very important for me, and I think that also helped me gain a lot of confidence. Where earlier maths was a little bit of a weak subject for me, towards the end, I as much as I practiced in before my exams and a few months before that, I think it really helped me boost my confidence in that. So I found that very important.
Great. Manya, what would you like to add to this? Is there any thing that you would like to change? Would have got you better marks? Still better marks?
I completely agree with Sambhavi. That's what happens when we start with 12th. We are not really in the mood to give exams after writing 11th, because as easy it seems that it's not, both teachers actually, the papers are too hard and we are not in the mood to study. So I would say the initial 2 months could be a game changer for anyone, because CBSE also has like a lot of projects, and because each one of them gives you 20 marks each. I spent around 1.5 completing only 3 projects: accounts, economics, and business studies. So yeah, so the thing is, if you from the beginning itself, if you manage your time well, so you will not tend to waste time while making projects, because those 1.5 months were dedicated towards project itself for me, because it required a lot of research from different sources and all.
Yeah.
So initially, if you, and similarly happened with me for maths, procrastination, that's the thing. Integration was something that I feared. September or October, that's when I was like, okay, it's finally high. Nobody else or no external force will be able to do that for me. So if I would have
Yeah.
done that in the initial beginning, so I wouldn't have been so pressurized at the end months. But that's just to say, because neither of us will be in less pressure when it comes to exams.
Right. Would you like to give any pointers to children out here, students out here, as to how to answer questions? The moment you get that question paper in your hand, is there any strategy? You go through the questions first. What are the strategies that you followed while answering questions? Shambhavi.
Right. So when for me, this was told to me by all of my teachers across all subjects. The first thing when you get your question paper during the reading time is to make sure you read the questions not only a lot of times, but you to make sure that you're reading it correctly. Because you
Yeah.
may just miss one word, or read one word incorrectly, and you could lose like a lot of mark potentially for that answer. So it's important to spend time reading the questions first, and if you have extra time, if you're not sure about something, just try to spend the time and recall. But if you the worst thing you could possibly do is at that point, I think, panic, because I don't think it's constructive to spend too much time on one question,
यहाँ से
which is
सीरियस
why
हो जा रहा
again
है,
the
नहीं
most
लगता है
important
इतना
thing when it
प्रेशर
comes
जो
to
आता है
exams
बच्चा पे।
is time management. Because in my subjects of humanities, the papers were obviously very long, which is why again I had to get into a lot of practice of writing and knowing what to write, and not write too much. So I think managing your time when it comes to your different sections, like objective sections and
चीजों को तो
subjective
भरा ही
sections, is
नहीं,
very important.
मतलब अजीब
And
थिंकिंग है,
another thing is,
क्या भूत आ
to
गया
know
था
what exactly you have to write, and not write too much, and that
चीजों को
comes
अलग
only with familiarity with your subject matter. And because when you've practiced enough, so you know that what exactly are the main points you need to write. And another thing I was always told, which I found very helpful, was to underline keywords
अभी
and
हमने बोला
highlight
हमने
it, that
क्या
you've
पढ़ रहे हो,
mentioned it there,
तो हम
so
सीरियसली नहीं
that when
देखते, तो
you're
हमको
checking
गलत
your
क्या
paper
होगा क्या
first, you know that you
देखेगा,
haven't missed out
तो
anything.
कुछ
So
तो
I think
बताया
that was very
फाइनेंस
important for me.
इन्फॉर्मेशन सिस्टम से
So
ऐसा
those were
करके,
some basic
मैं
tips
तो
that
तुम्हारा
were told to
इकोनॉमिक्स
me,
था,
and
सब
I
जगह
found
यही
it
बोल
very
के जा
helpful
रहा
in
है,
all my exams.
इकोनॉमिक्स ही गायब हो गया।
Right. We would please request all of you to mute your self, please. I would only want Shambhavi and Manya to be talking here. Kindly mute yourselves. Thank you. Great, Shambhavi. Manya, what would you like to add? What is the best way of answering questions?
Adding on to what Sambhavi said, that's what our teacher suggested, to have precise answers, highlighted keywords. Adding on to that, I'll add on to what personally I did for my exams was, in your reading time, CBC gives you around 15 minutes of reading time. And once you start writing your business studies and economics paper, both of them
ऐसे ही
being
बस नहीं पढ़ी
theoretical,
होगी भैया, एकदम ही नहीं पढ़ी।
Yeah. I would please request all of you to mute yourself. I would only want to hear from Manya and Shambhavi. Kindly mute yourself. Thank you. Please, Manya, go on.
Yeah. So in that 15 minutes of reading time that you get, business and economic paper, because our syllabus is very vast. So once you
Yeah.
start writing the exams, you may tend to forget points because many points or many topics have, like, every topic has different set of answers, but you tend to mix them up in business studies especially. So in that reading time with the pencil, you can have keywords written in your question paper or something. So once you start writing your answers, you do not tend to lose time remembering or bringing back what you are supposed to write. And then in
Right.
accounts, I would say making formats is very necessary, and for that I think everybody will have to write at least a 5 sample papers to get in speed,
Yeah. Great. Lovely.
because accounts is a very lengthy paper. Talk about it being objective they talk about it being objective, but the objective ones also require a half page calculation. So get into time management and practice so that your speed is nice and your answers are precise, and along with the marks, you know how to distribute the answer, because there's a word limit that CBSE specifies every time.
Okay, lovely, great, lovely. So I would also now request, if we are in the audience, the parents, the students, anybody would please like to ask any question. There is a chat box there. You can please start, sending your questions to us. You can even unmute yourself and ask questions to Manya and Shambhavi here. Please, is there any question we have from the audience? Okay, Sonu, I think you have a question. Would you like to ask that question, please? We have a question from Ankit Kumar. Aniket Kumar, can we have that question, please? Aniket, you can please unmute yourself and ask question.
Which book?
Your voice is not clear. Would you like to please type it for us? Please put it in the chat. Can you please put it in the chat?
Chat is disabled.
Okay, there is a question from Priya Oja as well. Priya, can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay, Priya,
I can
what's
hear.
your question?
Yes, my question is how you both manage yourself in overcoming the distraction and then how you get focused again to your goal. This is my question.
Okay.
Am I clear?
Shambhavi and Manya. Shambhavi, the question is, she's saying that, this is Priya Oja asking you the question. She's saying, how do you get rid of, kind of distractions? There are distractions bound to happen, but how do you control
Yeah.
your mind to get over those distractions? Shambhavi, can you answer that question, please?
Right. So when it comes to your daily schedule, if you find that something is distracting you, it personally depends on each of us here. What if you find something distracting, you could eliminate it altogether from your day if you find that helpful, or you can set a certain time for it so you know that you will be able to enjoy that, but it won't interfere with your studies. And when you're studying, I think again the most important thing is to remain focused on what you're studying for whatever amount of time that you're studying. So, and I think if it's something you enjoy, you shouldn't really have to eliminate it, because all of that helps in, you staying motivated throughout the 2 years. So I think if you again, like setting a schedule for yourself to make sure that you incorporate everything that you have to do and that you want to do, again, it helps you, maintain a clear vision of, what you have to do at the end of it.
Great. Manya, do you have anything to add to this, please?
Yeah, talking
Manya,
about
are you there?
distractions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Yeah. Talking
Yes.
about distractions, you'll have to first identify them. That's the main thing. If you're able to identify them, I'm sure that you'll be able to find a solution to overcome them. So I can talk about a few of them which I personally face. So one of them would be social media, because you tend to see people going to parties, going to restaurants, and be like, "Oh, bhai, main to room mein fasa hua hu." But that's some thought that you'll have to overcome over time if you have to achieve something, because everyone's life is different, everyone's perspective is different. So identify those. And the second thing could be your peer group. So that's not something I face. My friends have been quite supportive and all of them have been academically good. So but you find yourself among some people who force you into things that you're not into, who force you into not studying, or who similarly who are like, okay, tu nahi kar sakta ye and all that, you will have to get rid of that group. So identify your distractions, or what is distracting you, what is dismotivating you, and I think you will be able to find a solution for that. Talking about goals, you will have to have, you'll need to identify what is your goal you want to achieve. And because everybody will every one of us will have a different path to go there. Somebody would adopt a shorter way, somebody would adopt a longer way, somebody will have a different goal. Identify it, and I think you can reach out to your mentors what will be the best way for you to achieve it.
Great,
Ma'am,
lovely. All right.
ma'am,
Priya,
chat is
I hope
disabled.
this answer your question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Great. So we have
Ma'am,
one
may I ask?
question coming from. Yeah. Please tell me who's this.
Ma'am, Aniket,
Okay, Aniket,
Ma'am.
please go ahead. What's your question?
which math book Manya ma'am and Sambhavi ma'am were using in standard 8, 9, 10th maths book?
Okay. All right. So the
Which
question
standard
is
are
from
you in?
Aniket, Shambhavi, and Manya. He's asking you what is the name of the maths course book that you were using in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. Do you have
They're
any
asking
other
which
reference
board is
books?
he in.
For
Okay.
the I would
Aniket,
say,
you have been in which board?
Yes, ma'am.
Which board have you been going to? Which board? You have been going to which board?
CBSE.
CB. All right. So CBSE. So Manya, you can answer this question.
Alright.
Manya, are you there?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
which
maths,
math book you yeah.
It being a CBSE class, it's compulsory for all the schools to have NCRT. So along with that, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, I followed RS and RD. And in 12th, I opted out of RD because I'm a commerce student. So for me, I do not require RD skills. So I was thorough with RS Agarwal along with my NCRT, and I did 2 or 3 question papers and sample paper book. One of them being Oswal, which is a very good reference. And yeah.
All right, lovely. Aniket, I hope this answers your question.
Yes, ma'am. And from Sambhavi ma'am.
All right, Shambhavi, yeah.
Yeah, I was an ICSE student, so there are certain prescribed textbooks even in 8th, 9th, 10th grade till 12th grade, and that is chosen by your school. So for me, I had concise mathematics, I think, in 9th and 10th standard. However, based on the suggestions of my teachers and seniors, etc., I had a list of certain books that they use, which had practice questions and sample papers. And again, when it comes to maths, the more practice that you get, the better. So as many papers or books that you can refer to really understand and get perfection in what you're studying, I think that is very helpful. I'm sorry, I can't recall the names of the reference book I used in 10th grade, but yeah.
All right, Aniket,
Actually,
are
I
you happy
also
with the
have a
answers?
question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Who's next, please?
Me, I'm Zia.
Okay, hi, Gia. Gia, tell me, what is your question?
I want to ask how to make a timetable. Is deck is necessary, and how much hour did we study? How much hours should we study for our goal?
Okay. All right. Now the question, Shambhavi and Manya, the question is, she's asking that, how should you plan your day? I mean, how many hours study is required in a day? How many hours she should devote to study in a day? How many minutes of breaks are required in a day? So these are two different questions. How many hours of study and how many minutes of break?
Should I go, or Manya, do you want
Yeah,
to?
Shambhavi, please go ahead.
Okay, so when it comes to how many hours you're supposed to study in a day, so on the on a weekday, obviously you'll be spending a lot of time at school, and you might have other work to do throughout the week, so you might not find that much time to, like study for your exam or whatever that's coming up. So I think on a weekday, it is important to see if you have something to complete for the next day, or if you have another assignment pending. So and not to spend the remainder of your day studying. Again, like it doesn't really help. For me at least, it didn't. So when it comes to forming a schedule, you have to see what you have to do, and how much time you have available for that, and to incorporate everything. So you first need to know exactly what you have to do so you can accommodate everything and make sure you haven't really missed out on anything. And when it comes to the weekend, you probably have more time if you're at home. So you can spend a few hours on both of the days on something that you didn't understand in the week, something that you want to revise again because you found it tough, and just something that you studied like a lot of time back, so you revise it basically. So I
Yeah.
think, and again, when it comes to the number of breaks, again, it depends on how you're feeling. If you're completely saturated, then there's no point in pushing yourself to study it because it won't help. You'll probably forget everything, or you'll just end up making yourself more stressed about it. So I
Yeah.
think the number of breaks you take, it depends on what you're studying and how much you've already studied. And yeah, I think to find a schedule that accommodates everything that you have to do, and that doesn't become more of a stress for you to follow, and it makes you
Yeah.
feel more calm instead of adding another element of stress that you have to complete so much of work in one day.
Right. All right. Manya, what would you like to add? How many hours of study should one give in a day?
I would suggest please do not push yourself at once. Gradually increase the hours you're studying. Personally speaking, in 11th, 12th, when I had school, I had 5 to 6 hours of self study, and my schools ended in December after pre board. So I had around like 11 to 12 hours of study because you're practically only at home. So that's when you can give more of time. And Sundays, I had my extracurricular coaching. So I wasn't really able to give my attention to CBSE, so my weekdays used to be quite hectic. But one thing I would suggest every one of you is, suppose you're studying for around 2 hours a day. I think minimum everybody studies for that. And if somebody like us here is suggesting that we studied for 6 hours or 7 hours, please do not try to push yourself directly from 2 to 7. It's going to take a toll on you. So I would suggest is every day keep pushing yourself by half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour maximum. So one day by
Yeah.
the end of the month, you'll yourself be studying that much. But if I say that I'm studying for 2 hours a day and somebody suggests me, oh bhai, main to 8 घंटे पढ़ता हूँ, and next day you try studying 8 hours, that's not going to help you at all. So gradually increase. Maybe next day you study for 3 hours, the next day you push up your limits by 4 hours, and one day you'll be able to know that how much studying is required, because staying in your books 24/7 won't help you, and please rest assured on that. And talking about breaks, it's very subjective. It depends upon how you go by studying. Personally
Yeah.
speaking, I didn't take breaks time wise. Like I didn't have like I'll study for 1 hour and then I'll have a break. I used to go topic
We
wise.
lost
Like
your
if I I'm audible? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
talk. So for breaks, I would go like topic wise. So if I've started a topic, I wouldn't want to take a break after studying 15 minutes of it, because then I think that I will lose a flow of how I've been studying. So I would rather
Right.
complete a topic, and if it takes me, even if it takes me 3 hours continuous study, and if I'm enjoying the topic and I'm able to do, I'll study for 3 hours and then take a half an hour break. But suppose if I do not like the topic at all and I'm very tired in half an hour, then I wouldn't mind taking a break in half an hour also. So divide your time that so that you're able to finish all your goals and you do not even feel tired. So like if you start feeling tired initially by studying 4 hours and then your goals are not completed, there's no use pushing for a 6 hour study schedule and not retaining anything that you study in the last 2 hours. So try different
Right.
ways of how you can study for the 1 week or something, and you'll identify what suits you best.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. All
Can I
right.
just add
Jia,
one
does
more
this
point to
answer
that
your
question?
question? Yes,
Okay,
please,
thank you so
Shambhavi, go
much.
ahead.
It would help me a lot.
Sure.
Glad
I
we
think
So
could help.
Shambhavi has another point to add, Jia. Please, Shambhavi, go on.
yeah, it's just one more thing. It also doesn't matter the number of hours you study as much of how you utilize the time that you're studying, because you might just be sitting because you think that someone around you is studying for 6 7 8 hours a day. You might make yourself sit and study, but you might not really be studying. You just might be reading or staring at your book, but you'll feel that you studied for 7 hours a day when it really didn't help you. So it just doesn't matter the number of hours you put in a day. It matters how you make use of that, and whether you're actually retaining what you're studying instead of just
Right.
wasting
Yeah.
time if you're not up to it. That's just one more thing.
Right. Perfect. Perfect. Jia, I hope this answers your question.
Yeah.
All right. Who else do we have? Jay Prakash. Jay Prakash, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Jayaprakash, are you there? All right. What's your question, Jayaprakash?
How we overcome from failure and how we consistent in our timetable. I am a student of class 11th.
Okay. What subjects are you studying?
I was studying biology, PCB.
Okay, PCB. All right. So, Manya, this is Jayaprakash. He's saying that how does one deal with failure? You know, how does one deal with failure if you're not able to cope up with your curriculum, with your day, the way you have planned your day? How do you help yourself out there?
Yeah, I would start with the first don't that I said. Don't lose hope. You still have 2 years ahead of you. So the thing is, identify your weakness. If you're failing a test, I wouldn't even say that failing a test. If you're scoring less in a test, it may be because you never understood that topic, or it may be also because you never are interested in that subject. So identify your weaknesses and have the strength to accept them. Do not just neglect them. ठीक है यार हो जाएगा. That approach will never help you. So once you identify what is actually making you lose marks, study more. Just study that from 6 or 7 sources, and eventually you will be master in that subject. So I had the same thing for integration. Initially I had lost hope on it, but when I gave my boards, I practically scored fully in integration. So once you start working towards it, you'll be able to do that. And what was the second question? I forgot. I'm sorry.
All right. What was your second question? What was your second question?
Yes, ma'am. How we consistent in our timetable.
Okay. How does one stick to timetable, Manya? How do you stick to the timetable that you've made for yourself?
The first thing would be that timetables should be something which is achievable, because I've seen people in my class having timetable which suggests that you study for 11 hour, 12 hour, and when they themselves know that they cannot study for more than 3-4 hours. So make a timetable which you know that you can achieve, push your limits gradually, and in the timetable, do not have a time like 3 to 3 I'll be doing this and 4 to 5 I'll be doing this. Have goals, because that's better, because you never know once you start studying a topic how much interest you develop and how long you start studying it. So once you have topics, you'll know, okay, मैंने आज इतना काम किया, it has been a good day, and you'll also have a sound sleep. Because personally, if I'm not able to accomplish what I've decided for the day, I do not get a sound sleep. I don't know why.
No, I think that's quite right. Shambhavi, what would you like to add this? How does one help oneself if they have not been able to meet the set goals for the day?
Right. So, like I said, when it comes to 11th and 12th standard, you will have a lot of assignments, besides your exams and projects, etc. So I think it's also important to have a little bit of flexibility when it comes to your schedule, because in case you have to complete something for the next day, and you have to do it immediately, you should have that window, but also not neglect something else that you're supposed to have been doing, much earlier before. Which is why it's important to be consistent and be timely when it comes to the work you're supposed to do, because besides the fact that you'll complete it, you'll also feel better rather than having to do it at the last minute. So I think like keeping a time window helps where you have a definite goal. Like Manya said, it's not good to keep a rigid time limit. However, there must be some idea of how much time you want to spend and what you want to complete in that day, basically. And
Very right.
when it comes to like being consistent, it's no point in studying if you're not really studying. So I think taking a break, talking to someone around you, talking to your friends, see how they're doing, something that helped them, because you're all studying the same thing. They might have found something that was helpful. So you can contact your teachers if if you're struggling with learning something. So I think it's also necessary to keep communicating with the people around you if you're not able to focus on something particularly.
Yeah, one
Right.
thing I would like to add is
Please.
PCB students usually tend to spend a lot of time in books. So even if you're a science student, I know your syllabus is very vast than ours, but please do not stay in books like 24/7. When you take breaks, just do not sit without books. Do something that refreshes your mind, because you have a lot to retain in the next hour that you'll be studying.
Right. Absolutely right. Does this answer your question? Are you happy with the answers, Jayaprakash?
Yes, ma'am. One more question that how we prepare for NEET examination. I started my preparation from today or after 12.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now, both Shambhavi and Manya, they are not from science background. They are super achievers for humanities and commerce. So NEET exams, definitely you can reach out to me. I can help you out with how you can handle NEET examinations. So for the time being, we will pass this question. Anything else would you like to ask?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay, there is Vratika there waiting. Vratika, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right, what's your question, Vratika?
I would like to ask which book should I refer for my for accounts for my 12th grade, and also how many hours should I give only for accounts?
All right, so Manya, I think you should be answering this question. She wants to know what is the book reference, the name of the reference book to be used for accounts in grade 12. Second part of the question, how many hours in a day should she devote for accounts, solely for accounts?
Okay. Book I used were T.S. Grewal, NCRT, and D.K. Goyal. I did all of them, and I had some sample paper books as well for the last 2-month revision. But you do not need T.S. Grewal and D.K. Goyal because I had a lot of time, so I just finished those. But if you are true to one book, I think that should suffice for your boards. But if you're planning for doing something like CA or CS, I guess doing both books will help you a lot, because accounts is not something that we can confine to one book, just like maths. And talking about how many hours do you need to do for that, I would say people just fear accounts. So the thing is, accounts, you'll have a lot of formats, you'll have a lot of journal entries that people tend to learn. Instead of learning, if you club the first book, it's all about partnership. So when they teach us in the school, or I would say the books give you matter, they have like for every chapter different journal entries. But once you start understanding, what you will understand, where you'll see the main point is all of them are just related. So if you keep that thing in mind, you will start enjoying accounts. So initially, like beginning 3-4 months have been that I stopped studying all the subjects, and accounts is what had all my heart. So I was studying it for like 4 hours and 5 hours, and I would never realize. So just stop fearing accounts. And similarly, you, instead of learning or rot learning what Sambhavi had mentioned in the beginning, once you start understanding accounts, it'll be really helpful. And talking about for constant practice, I think instead of hours, just have whatever teacher is teaching in the school for the same concept, practiced at least of 10 to 15 questions of the same topic daily, how much time ever they take. Because accounts, initially you won't get the answer at once, so fixing a time limit actually won't be very beneficial.
All right. Okay, Manya, why don't you also discuss on what is the time limit? I mean, with respect to the month, maybe should they finish their course, the entire course by November or by December? They should be thorough with their course by which month of the year?
Okay, for that, I'll say it depends upon how schools are going, because if you are not matching with your school or the tuition, I think you can confuse yourself. So one thing that I had in mind was I was not going to tuition, and I was not following school. So I had my own schedule, so I can move ahead with that. But if you're even following your schools will tend to complete your syllabus maximum by December. So even if you stick to that, there's no hurry. You don't have to hurry. Even if you finish your syllabus by December or Jan beginning, you have a buffer period of 1.5 months where you can revise everything if you're practicing daily. And personally speaking, I finished my syllabus in August for accounts, because I'm telling you, I enjoy that subject a lot. So I had finished that by August. So after that, I then the thing was, then I stopped doing accounts, because then I focused on my rest subjects. So it actually depends how you're devoting time. You're doing it subject wise, or you're doing everything daily. Because English, economics, and business is something that I only studied at last, all of them being theoretical subjects. So yeah.
All right. Does this answer your question? Kritika, does this answer your question?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Are you there, Kritika? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, we can move to the next question then. We have Shreya here. Shreya, what's your question? Can you hear me? Shreya, can you hear me?
Ma'am, can I ask my question? I've been waiting for 20 minutes.
No problem. What's your name?
Ma'am, Saksham.
Saksham, please ask your question.
My question is that do you have any experience with people with comically short attention spans? Like, I mean, in short as in minutes, under 10 minutes. And even if you don't, would you have any suggestions for people with non-existent attention spans?
Okay, I think this is a very technical question out there, Saksham. I would definitely like to add here, people who have short attention span, it's very important for them not to have very big goals for them in terms of what they would want to cover during the course of the day. You know, they should have very short goals for themselves set, and it's important for people who have, a short attention span to take breaks, so that they need to refresh their minds, go back to the whatever they had decided on to do, and then start, because it's very important for them to take those breaks and start again, for them to retain what they have studied. So that is one thing that they definitely need to work on, and also make very short goals for themselves so that they can read. So there has to be a certain strategy followed for them, that is very important. Anything you would like to add, Shambhavi or Manya, for this?
So if you're when it comes to studying, if you're trying to study straight from the textbook, a lot of time it gets monotonous because it just looks the same. So one thing that what helped me to revise and also really understand, remember what I was doing, was to make just very short notes. Like it could just be one keyword which was highlighted so you wouldn't forget it. So if you were revising for an exam or something, you could just look at that sheet of paper and it would have a lot of the key points that you would need for a particular topic or an answer. So you don't have to waste a lot of time just looking through the textbook, and even then you might forget something, you might miss out something. So I think if you write it, you can go over a lot of matter in a very short amount of time. So I think that is what helped me as well. That's just one tip that I have.
Sure. Manya, anything from your side?
Yeah, adding on to that, for concentration, I had a junior who suffered from the same thing. So one thing that helps her a lot is meditation. So every 10 minutes that you're distracted in, or your concentration is lost, instead of picking up your phone or going outside of your room, just for a minute or so, meditate, and I think you'll be back to your field. And as she said, making notes, once you are writing while you're studying, it actually helps you concentrate more. And even if you're not able to do that, or you're very bad at even reading because of that concentration span, I think you can begin studying with YouTube with the help of videos, because once you start watching videos for for a topic or something, you're more like, your concentration usually tends to increase, because I am more of a visual audio visual learner.
Lovely. Does this answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Saksham,
Thank you
are
very
you there?
much. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. All right, Mishti, are you there? Mishti, we have a question coming from Mishti. Mishti, are you there? Can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what's your question?
Ma'am, I am asking that this time is good for doing maths, because some say that the morning time is better. Some say no, afternoon time is better. Then I become confused that time.
Right. Very important question. So Shambhavi and Manya, this is an important question. What time should mathematics be done? Is morning hours are best or the evening hours are best? Shambhavi, what are your points on that?
I think it again depends on how difficult you find it. For me, sometimes if I found something really difficult, I think it helps the minute you wake up and you're fresh. I think for me, that's what helped me, to focus, because it's the first thing you're doing. You'll automatically pay a lot of attention to it. But again, I know a lot of my friends who were more comfortable studying at night, or in the evening after school, etc. So I think you can try out everything and see what works for you.
Right. Manya, what are your thoughts?
I think it depends upon if you're a morning person or a night person, and when your concentration span is the maximum. Pick up the subjects which you find difficult or hard to concentrate on the time when you're actually fresh and you do not have any tensions or any sort of problems in your mind, and you know that you can give your 100%. It can be early 5 in the morning, or it could be 3 in the midnight. That actually depends upon you. So pick up the time when you know that you're actually fresh and that you can give your 100%. But sometimes, like, suppose you pick up business studies or economics and you know that they are quite boring, and after that you start picking up maths, your brain would not function. So it
Right.
actually depends. If your brain starts functioning more after reading something and it develops an interest for studying, or is it early in the morning without studying anything? For me, for me, it was always I would start studying like in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so I cannot wake up early 5 in the morning. So after returning from school, the first thing that I used to do was take a nap and then start with maths, because I guess that was the time when I was more comfortable doing it.
Yeah,
Hope that
great.
helped.
So yeah, Mishti, does that answer your question? I think both of them are talking about your comfort zone there. You know, the time where you are most comfortable, where you're more receptive. That is the time you should choose to do mathematics, because that is one subject you're not very comfortable with. If your retention power is better towards the morning hours, you should stick to mornings. So if you feel you're better when everybody's asleep and you would want to do it at night, stick to night hours. It's, I think you need to do that permutation combination, see what works best for you. Where you feel more confident that this is the plan that works for you, take that up. I hope that answers your question, Mishti.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay,
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Shreyas, pleasure. We have Shreyas there. Shreyas, you have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Shreyas, tell me, what's your question?
Ma'am, how can I become a good achiever? And second question is, how can I concentrate on my studies?
All right. So, Shambhavi, there's a question that says, Shreya wants to know, how can one be a good achiever? How can one achieve in life? What are the key things one needs to keep in mind to become a super achiever like you and Manya? Please give her pointers on those.
Right. So just to like reiterate everything, I think the most important thing is to be dedicated in what you're doing. And you might face failures across exams or tests, etc. But that's not absolute. From that you learn what went wrong, what you found tough to study, and what method didn't work for you at all. So I think one thing is to just be motivated. You could find that in anywhere from your teachers, your friends, family. I think that's also important to take inputs from the people around you who might be going through the same thing. And again, so when it comes to on specifically how to study, consistency is important, because if you're not comfortable with studying, like 6-7 hours a day or a lot of time in a day, even putting in a little amount of effort in one day, whether it's an hour or two, it helps you really understand the study, and also it makes you feel better about yourself, because you might have covered a lot of time, like a very less time that you might not have anticipated. And yeah, I think those are the two main things, besides being organized and having a plan, and really consulting people around you. And another very important thing for me was the inputs and advice given by my teachers. All of my teachers, every single subject, for every single student, they had advice on how to study, on how to study specific things, and very specific tips that you might not get from someone who doesn't have the experience in that particular
Okay.
subject or in a school.
Right. Manya, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, before telling about the tips and all, I would say, even if you don't score well, do not feel low about yourself, because I have had seniors who perform badly in 11th and 12th, and after which they realize that that was not even their field of interest. And in college, I'll have to admit that they're performing extremely well. So not talking about the tips, because I think that's very important for all of you. So the thing is, you might have subjects in your current grade that you do not enjoy, and that may be the reason you're losing marks. But at the end of the day, you'll have to perform either way, because that's how education is working in India for now, and all of that. So the thing is, while studying, set goals and talk to your mentors or something, because just speak about your problems. Until and unless you admit that you're having this problem, you'll never be able to find a solution for that. And achiever or something, I would say it actually depends upon your field of interest, because I have had friends in science stream who want to do law. So I don't think so that their marks in physics, chemistry and maths really matter to them. So if you're in a field that you are really enjoying, you will not have to push yourself for marks, and you'll eventually start enjoying it and doing it as more of a passion rather than as a subject for marks.
Very right.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Shreya, are you
Yeah,
happy?
ma'am.
Does it answer your question?
Yeah, of course.
All right, great. We have
Thank you,
Sahid
ma'am.
now. Pleasure, absolute pleasure. Okay, we have Sahid there. Sahid, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Okay, what's your question, Sahid?
So my question is, ma'am, that I am pursuing in 12th commerce section, and I want to change it. That I want to change my study pattern. I want to do the graduation with the humanities because I love it, and just because of some reasons, because of family matter, I am here to be in the commerce. But I do the graduation with the humanities. So, if there are any effect or changes, what are the disadvantages or benefits if I change my 12th from graduation into the humanities? And something about GLAD examination.
Okay, so the question here is that, he's already doing commerce, but he would want to pursue his graduation in subjects from humanities. So
Yes,
he
ma'am. Yes,
feels,
ma'am.
is there going to be any disadvantage there for him if he's switching from commerce to humanities in his graduation? So, okay, so Manya, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it does not really matter because subjects like economics and business studies, psychology, even maths, like Sambhavi took, these all subjects are very common between humanities and commerce. The only difference being humanities offers you a lot of subjects and you can pick up your own interest among them. But when we talk about commerce, it's a specific set of 5 subjects which even the humanities students can take. So if you have taken commerce, you will have economics, you will have business studies for sure. So when you pursue a degree in humanities, economics honors is a course. So if you have studied it in 12th, I don't think so it's really, giving you any advantage or disadvantage over it if you're a particular subject. But like if you want to shift from commerce directly to like political science honors or history honors, you won't have any setback if you enjoy the subject. The only thing would be the people you come across in college might have a little edge over you because they have studied it for 2 hours. So just do not feel dismotivated about that. You can always cover it up in the first 2 months of like studying a bit extra and knowing more, but that does not really push you. And I think you wanted to know about CLAT. Was it right? That's what he said?
Yes, absolutely,
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. GLAD.
GLAT or CLAT? I think I am appearing for
CLAT.
CLAT.
It's not in GLAD. This law examination that we are just
Yeah,
going for the
CLAT.
after 12th
Yeah,
for
it's
the
CLAT.
selection.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
like
CLAT
IIT.
examination.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
CLAT.
a CLAT
So
exam.
CLAT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have been preparing for CLAT now for 2 years, but sadly the pattern changed in December, so all of it goes into vain. So what is your specific query? Because CLAT can go on for like hours and hours.
What is your specific query on CLAT? What would you want to know about CLAT?
Ma'am, something about the examination, the pattern, or what is it beneficial with the humanities?
All right. With humanities.
Yes, ma'am. I just heard about it. There is
See,
most of the
now
part
see,
of that GLAD examination is come from the humanities.
I
All
am
It's
from
right.
it's
Okay, now
commerce.
connected with the
this.
law and BA.
All right.
All right. What he's trying to say is the CLAT examination, there are a lot of portions from the humanities that come for the CLAT, entrance exam. So is that true, and how he can prepare himself for that? Is that what your question is?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that you understood the question, Manya?
Yeah. So the only thing that humanities student or art student get a edge over in CLAT is political science.
Yeah.
So personally speaking, I myself is a commerce with the mathematics students, and my subject combination was accounts, business studies, economics, English, and maths, with no scope of political science or psychology or physiology or anything like that. So there's no tension about it. And since they changed the pattern recently in December, all you need to have is a good reading speed and good interpretation analytical skills, because they change the paper into comprehension form, and that's what I've been practicing for 4 to 5 months now. And a good edge over general knowledge, because GK, since they have converted into comprehensions, you need to know recently what's going on, even if it's a draft which has been presented in the Lok Sabha. It becomes important. And talking about having an edge, I have had many friends who are in science and are appearing for CLAT just because they enjoy law. So that does not really give an edge, because a political science book, if you need it for CLAT, I think if you give it a thorough read in 2 months or something, I think that should suffice. And most of us are very aware of what democracy is, what are writs, what are fundamental rights and all. So I think you can do well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Great.
you.
Shambhavi, would you like to add anything here? If there is a switch from humanities to commerce or commerce to humanities, Is that a disadvantage in any way?
No, definitely not. I think when it comes to humanities, everyone who takes it does it because they're interested in it. So if you're really interested in it, I think it won't be really hard, because when it comes to when you start college, they teach you everything right from the basics, because that's what the main purpose of like undergraduate studies is. So I don't think there's any kind of like disadvantage when it comes to studying humanities after commerce, because I know a lot of seniors myself who've done science and commerce but are now doing liberal arts. So I think it really doesn't matter. You not and when it comes to ISC or CBSE, the humanities that we study is like an introduction to the subject to gain familiarity with what you'll be studying potentially in the future if you do take it. So I don't think there's any kind of disadvantage as such if you're interested in the subject or something basically.
Great. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Who is the next question? Arshad. Arshad, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your question, Arshad?
Ma'am, my question is, as far as class 12 students are concerned, they are giving their board paper second time. But when we are talking about class 10 students, it is their first time when they're facing the board exam. So what would you like to suggest something about class 10 students regarding this situation? As regarding me, I'm not going to any tuition or coaching. So how can I prepare about my 10th board exams?
Lovely. I think that's a wonderful question. Manya, what are your thoughts on this? Because class 10, it's just the start of the boards. This is the first time the student is giving boards. What are the kind of preparations, the apprehensions in the mind that they need to keep away? What are your thoughts?
I think giving boards for the second time did not really matter with CBSE, since they changed all the pattern last year, if you all are aware about it. So the only edge we had over giving second boards were we were not furious about those being boards, potentially the monster boards, as teacher fear us the whole year. And talking about preparation, first time does not really matter, because you will have sample papers and you'll have teachers guiding you, because all of us who have appeared in 12 boards have been through a stage that we also gave our 10th boards. So it does not really matter. The school will be conducting a lot of pre-boards, midterms, half yearly, semester exams, and all that. They really you really get in touch with all the type of questions that can come, and it's very extensive practice. And since you're not going to coaching and all, neither did I, does not really matter. Have a proper study plan, but if you're not understanding topics, just do not hesitate to ask from help from someone. It could be a parent, it could be a teacher, even if it could be a friend who understood the topic, because there's nobody else to assess what you're lacking in. Once you go to tuition, your tuition teacher might help you with that. So one thing that I did was I used to write my sample papers and give it to my school teacher, else over you to judge upon that. So the final advice would be to write sample papers, and sample papers CBSE is very fluctuating. Please do not rely upon 10-year papers. Just take upon every question that you come across. CBSE is very, fluctuating sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Shambhavi, what would you like to add to this? Preparing for class 10th boards, is it a nightmare? How should one prepare for class 10th board exams?
So we finished our exams before the pandemic started. So again, I know that online class is very hard. It's distracting because you're sitting at home and it gets monotonous. But I think when it comes to at this point, especially, one thing that will be very important is self-discipline. So when in 10th standard, I know that you also have a lot of subjects. It's not like focused in one area like science, commerce, or humanities. You have subjects across all of these three potentially. So I think again the most important thing is to spend equal time on all of them. If it's something that you find tough, it might be any subject. Spend more time with it, getting familiar with it, and for that, again, like Manya said, to get practice, the important things will become question papers, books, sample papers, etc. And the 10th standard thing, yes, it is the first hurdle, when it comes to studies especially. But I think you can also use this time to really find out what you're interested in. So you know what choice that you want to take in 11th and 12th, so it really lays the groundwork for what you want to do later. And again, while you're studying at home, again, it's very monotonous because you're sitting in one place. So I think you can check in with your friends, find out how they're doing, to stay connected with people around you. And again, when it comes to a lot of subjects that you have to study, I would say just pen down your schedule, whatever you have to do. Because now you're only at home, so you'll have to make sure that you stay focused. And that's where again you have to motivate yourself to study and make sure that you put your targets and you complete all of it in time.
Right. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Arshad,
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Arshad, are you happy with the answers?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. Who do we have next in the Dipjot? Dipjot, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your question, Dipjot?
My question is that when we study, shall we study like the topic line by line, para by para, or concept by concept? So how do we memorize the whole thing?
All right. So, Shambhavi, I think this is one thing that teachers always tell, that you should, concentrate on every line that's written in the textbook. So the question here is it important to read line by line, para by para to prepare for the exams? How does it go?
So when it comes to your exams, obviously there's a fixed answer key and a pattern which you're supposed to answer. So to cover that, yes, you have to go through the whole textbook. You have to go through all the topics that are there in a chapter, and you can't skip out anything because that reduces the amount of questions automatically that you'll be able to answer. However, I wouldn't say that it becomes a matter of memorizing or rote learning. Once you read a paragraph and you read a concept, I think it's important to understand it and come up with a way that you can retain it. It could be like a mental shortcut or those mnemonics or like a table or like a diagram graph, just a way to make it more presentable and in a way that you'll actually be able to retain it, right? And which is why I found making notes very helpful, especially because my subjects like psychology and sociology, a lot of it was theory based. So just writing down those, if you read a paragraph, you'll find probably 5 keywords you have to remember, so just write it down. And I think I'm not sure about other subjects, but at least for my subjects in the humanities, if you understood the concept, you'd have no problem explaining it in your own words either. So I don't think rote learning is the way to go. So yeah, I think it really depends on you understanding it and making sure that you understand it, asking your teachers questions, etc., on how to practice it.
Right, great. Manya, what are your thoughts on this? What would you like to add?
I would say with the objective questions being put into the paper, going line by line has become really important if you do not want to lose even a single mark. So how I went about it, for retaining something, it's not practically possible to have it once you read it. So the first time you start reading a chapter, I go about it thoroughly, not line by line. Then I start by doing the concepts. Once my concepts are clear, and that's when I go line by line. So it's a 3 or a 4 time process for a chapter. So because initially 2 stages, once you know the basics, the third one you're clear with all the concept, the fourth one I think you can really look into the details of everything.
Great. So does it answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you there? Dipjot, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. Okay, now we will have a last question now. We are taking last question now. This is Vidisha. Okay, we have Vidisha here. Vidisha, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
All right, Vidisha, what's your question?
Actually, I've been preparing for NEET, that is the medical entrance exam, since past 2 years. And it was supposed to be in the month of May. But due to COVID-19, it's got postponed, and right now in such a situation, I am unable to balance my studies with all this situation around. So any suggestion by which I could concentrate better?
I think it's the same for all of us, because even I was supposed to write my CLAT examination in May, and now it's happening in August. So one thing is not to lose hope or demotivate yourself, because everybody of us is facing the same problem, and that's what my parents suggest me, that you're not alone in this thing. Everybody is going through the same thing, and if you keep pushing yourself and handling with the situation is, now since you have been preparing for the past 2 years, you wouldn't require a rigorous studying schedule. So you can actually like study for around 6 hours or 7 hours, whatever suits you, and have some time to relax, whatever, like even cook, eat, watch videos, web series, anything. Just do not be like 24/7 in the books, because still it's not sure if the exams are happening on the dates scheduled by UGC. So one thing is, do not get demotivated or do so, because once you do that, I think all of the studying that we have done the past 2 years goes into vain.
Yeah.
Manya, okay. All right. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Vidushi. Thank you so much. All right. For all those who've not been able to, ask their questions, you can write to us. We will be leaving our email ID, and we will make sure that, somehow we get in touch with Shambhavi and Manya and send you the answers of those questions. So you can leave your questions in the chat box and with your name and what your query is, or you can email it to us. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Shambhavi and Manya. Thanks a lot for your time and for sharing your experience, your success story with all these children here. Thanks a lot. And we really wish you all the best. Now, as we wind up this conversation, we would want you to tell all these children here what are your future goals and how are you preparing for your future goals. Please share that with us, Shambhavi.
Right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Firstly, I hope all that we said helps you in some way. And secondly, when it comes to what I'm planning on doing, I chose humanities because I was very interested in all of the subjects, and I think more than ever now they're especially relevant. So I'm looking to pursue my studies in liberal education, which is a more holistic model of education where you explore your interests and you get exposure to a multiple number of subjects. However, you end up focusing your studies on one subject. So my subject of choice is economics. I'm looking to major in economics as a subject right now. And for my future field that I'm interested in, it's called behavioral economics. It's a very new field. It's up and coming, and it's a field that combines both psychology and economics. It's a very unique combination, but it's very relevant now because it enables you to understand people. And when it comes to economics, everything from decision making to finances, money, how to handle all of that. So that's what I'm looking to do right now.
Lovely. We wish you all the best, Shambhavi. Good luck to you for all your endeavors, and I wish you go from pillars to post for all your dreams get fulfilled. Thank you so much for coming here with us. Manya, what are your views on this? What would you like to be? How have you set up your goals? What are you looking forward to in life?
First of all, thank you so much for giving us a platform where we could share our views. And talking about my goals, I'm writing my CLAT, my law entrance exam this year. Hopefully they'll happen this year. So my main aim is I'll be doing 5-year undergraduate law where you do not get to actually choose your electives, but as a major in law, I'll be doing corporate law and intellectual property rights law. So I would like to be a corporate lawyer, something to do with compliances along with audits.
Lovely. Wish you all the best, Manya. We wish you all the best. Hope you come out with flying colors and win all over the globe. Thank you so much, both of you. We wish you lots of love and luck. Thank you.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all the viewers, to all the audience out here who've been so patient and they asked us questions. For anything that you would want to ask us more, please leave your questions in the chat box, or you could email it to us. We will be sending our email ID in the chat box. You can please read and leave your questions there. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Wishing each and every one of you lots of success. Thank you so much. Have a great day. So we are really happy to have conducted this Zoom meeting with the Super Achievers 2020, Shambhavi and Manya. We are really thankful to you, and we are thankful to all the students, all the children, all the parents, all the teachers who came by and took advice from Shambhavi and Manya, and all those who've not been able to, ask your questions during this Zoom meeting. You are requested to please leave your questions on our email ID, which we've just shared on the chat box below. You can also leave your questions here so that we can somehow get in touch with you and send the answers to those questions to you. Thanks a lot for coming and joining us for this amazing conversation with Shambhavi and Manya. Thanks a lot. More power to all of you, and my best wishes to all the students out there to make it big. Don't be scared of the 10th boards or the 11th or the 12th boards. You have enough time to yourself. All you need is dedication. All you need is motivation. All you need is to make sure you do not procrastinate. You need to finish your work well in time. Set goals for yourself. Finish your goals as they come by. You need to finish your goals. Be very sure of what you are getting into. Pursue it with your wholehearted effort, and there is nothing that can stop you. I wish you all the best, and stay tuned for more. We will have more webinars and more Zoom meetings like this to help you achieve success in your life. Wish you all the best from Power Talk with Archana.